Welcome back to Writing Done Right. Well, I have finished the audiobook for half my life, and now it is time to get it uploaded. And I'm going to upload it on 2 platforms. And I think I've made the decision. I'm just going to go ahead and put both of those uploads on one video, just so you can kind of get an overarching idea. So let's go ahead and get into this. Thanks for checking out this video. I am Tom Morosky, an author and a technology consultant, and on this channel we teach you the ins and outs of writing and publishing. We want to best give you the tools you need to succeed in what you're doing, not only in writing your book, but in getting it out to the world to see. And today we're going to look at uploading your book on 2 different platforms. Now, I have older videos on each of these platforms, but things have changed on each of them since that time. And so we're going to do one video here where we talk about uploading to ACX and Findaway Voices. There are other platforms out there as well. I have not investigated all of those because I found that between those 2, I get the best overall royalties and the best overall exposure, especially with Findaway Voices was recently purchased by Spotify, and there's been a lot of cool things going on since that acquisition had occurred. And hopefully it doesn't cause any bad things to occur, but that's yet to be seen. Now, other platforms, of course, I sell things on my own web stores, my personal author website, which is called ourwalkingchrist.com. I also put it on my publishing website, since I'm also a publisher. That's at owicpub.com, excuse me. And those sites there will have the downloads available in my own personal store. Now, as far as selling internationally to people who are a little bit afraid of the big tech, and that is my biggest channel, we teach people about privacy and propriety versus open source software. We teach people how to be cautious about just handing anything over to everybody. And so some people don't want to buy it from Amazon. Some people don't want to buy it from Barnes & Noble. And so I make it available at other places as well. So my international customers who would like to purchase the book without going through a big tech company, I have a company called PayHip that I use, which also can now do courses, subscription models. They are a fast expanding company as well. But what I use them for is my ebooks and audiobooks because they collect VAT for me, and I do not have to worry about a VAT license as long as I'm using PayHip, because they will handle that side of the business for me for international purchasers. So I do have that PayHip model as well. Now, that being said, as far as US and other worldwide distribution, I do use these bigger platforms, which put me absolutely everywhere. If you can buy an audiobook somewhere, likely you can find my audiobooks. Now, at the day this video is going to release, those are not yet in the systems, although they are on my website, on my publisher site, and they are on PayHip. But with that, just in the next week or so, you're going to start seeing those rolling out to Kobo, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, anywhere else you can buy an audiobook online. We have audiobooks.com. There's a few other places out there as well. And today we're going to go ahead and jump on over to the computer and we'll show you how to upload each of those. We're going to do that, and then we're going to come up with some concluding thoughts. All right, so here we're adding a new audiobook title over to ACX. Make sure that we have all of our assets in place. So you'll see I have an audiobook and I have an audiobook production. The audiobook is a lower bit rate I use to sell on my own site. It just makes it a little bit smaller. Usually I do 32, but due to some codex changes in the current version of my operating system here, I'm actually using 48 instead. Fairly irrelevant. As far as the production you need to put into the more professional systems, you want to make sure that you have these guys set up at 192 kilobit per second constant bit rate. You'll notice that each of them has the icon of the book. So I'm using a tagger called Kid3. This is a cross-platform audio tagger. And what I always make sure I do is I have tag 1 and tag 2. Some players only see tag 1s, some players only see tag 2s. And then you'll see that I have a 300 by 300 pixel image dropped in here. This is what's going to show the image of the book if you are playing it on an MP3 player that has image support. And then, of course, I have the title of the chapter. In this case, this is the retail sample, the artist, the album. We have all the track numbers in place, the date, the publisher, and I have the genre of audiobook. Just make sure you have as much information in here as you possibly can. So that's all done. And then, of course, I have my images. Now, they're going to need a much bigger image. So this one here is a 3000 by 3000 pixel image. So this is the higher quality image that you're going to need to upload, because they basically want a really good high quality image and they will scale it down to size. Whereas if I give them something small, and here's this one, something small, and we scale it, if we need to scale this guy up, you'll notice it gets a little pixelated and things, and that doesn't look good, because you always want to take something larger and scale it down. Now, if you're doing a website, you don't want to have a massive image on there, because you have to worry about download size as well. I also have these other ones which has these audiobooks on it. I use these ones for selling on my web stores and other places where I have more control over the image to identify easily that this is an audiobook, that this is an ebook. So those are little things that I do personally. So make sure you have your audiobook production files done, and you're going to want to check the exact requirements they need. The basement floor, I think it's like a maximum of minus 60 dB. You need a peak of minus 3. You need an RMS between minus 23 and minus 18, I believe. If you don't know what those are, you would probably need to hire an audio engineer just to figure that out. Of course, most of these places, ACX and Findaway Voices, and pretty much anywhere else where you can get your audiobooks up, they actually will have the options for you to put work with an audio engineer directly. So you don't need to worry about finding somebody on your own and then getting everything and then going to these sites. Work within these sites, and you can actually hire people within these sites to make sure things work. We're going to hit the Assert More titles or add your title up at the top. And if you already have an Amazon account, then it's actually going to pull up. Now my ACX account is tied to my Amazon account. They use the same logins. It pulls everything up, and you'll see that, oh, this is the book we're doing. This is going to save you a lot of time on ACX. It's going to pull in information from Amazon. You'll see that's the only one with an orange button on it, because I have my audiobooks already established on all of my other books. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this is my book, and then it gives you the option. Now, if you have a book already there and you're like, I kind of want to get into audiobooks, I have no idea where to start, you can come in here, click this first button up here, and they are going to put you in contact with people through their system to work on these, which can actually include paying them royalties instead of paying them all up front. In my case, I already have the audiobooks done. I know how to do these things, and we have videos on this channel about how to record and even master your audiobook files. So I'm going to go ahead and click this one down here because I already have it. The other option you might click this is if you're working with an independent audio engineer. You could probably find audio engineers on like Fiverr and things like that. So you can find your audio engineers other places. All right, so now we want to set everything up. I do control worldwide titles to the book that I wrote that is about my life. Okay, so I can control the world territory rights. If you're working with an independent person, you might need to figure out, do you have territory rights everywhere or whatever else? Now, exclusive, you'll see that you'll get a higher royalty, but this also means you cannot sell it anywhere else, including your own personal stores. I don't like to do that for a number of reasons. Number one, diversity is always good. As a Christian author, there is a verse in the Bible that says, cast your bread upon the waters. It's about diversity. Enough of that. I don't want to tie myself exclusively to Amazon because Amazon is a big company. If they get something in their head like you're not allowed to do advertising for your book through our AMS program, you have zero luck. Additionally, in my personal following, being that I work with a lot of free and open source software, I have a lot of people following me that like to use free and open source platforms. They don't want to tie themselves to Amazon. And so when that happens, if I am exclusive to Amazon, it might actually exclude some people. So you'll notice that the non-exclusive means you get a smaller royalty. I'm actually okay with that. That's perfectly fine. You don't want to try and be, oh, I'm going to get the 40% royalty on ACX and then still try and sell it somewhere else. It's unethical. It will violates the rules, and it could result in getting your entire library kicked off of the platform. So don't do that. If you're going to choose exclusive, you need to be exclusive to ACX. Now, ACX gets you on iTunes, Audible, and Amazon. So if you only care about those three platforms, it does make sense to go exclusive. In my case, I also use Spotify's Findaway Voices, which puts it literally everywhere else in the world, in addition to using my own publisher website, my own author website, and I use another site called PayHip, which allows me to sell to international groups because PayHip handles that for me. So what language is it written? In English. That is good. So let's go ahead and click on that. And you are going to want to read the audiobook license and distribution agreement. I have read it in the past, so I'm just going to click on that. This is not my first rodeo. But you're going to want to read that, just basically understand things. And I generally advise people to read the things that they are agreeing to. We're not going to go through that on this video. You can click on that at any time, because we want to get into the title details. So this is actually pulling in from Amazon. If you do not have this book already listed on Amazon, you're going to want to have this information. I see that there is some HTML code in here, and if I'm remembering correctly, I think that this should work. It does tell me I have minus 1,600 characters left. So let me see. Pull from your book, change the description, will be included on Audible, will not be reflected on your Amazon. Let me see what this is doing. It looks like, basically we have less characters than Amazon allows. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the HTML code in here. And I have no idea why. I've never encountered the situation before where it's pulling in too many characters. But we'll see what happens here. Let's pull out this whole paragraph. We're going to basically pull these. Let's see. I don't want to pull out too much out of the description, so I'm just going to knock down paragraph by paragraph until we get up to where we need, and then I'm going to assess what I have from there. Okay, so here I can actually, this is actually pretty good here. All right. So let's make sure this looks good. I'm just going to scan over this here real quick. All right, we're just going to go ahead and run with that. Copyright information, print copyright owner. I am the copyright owner. If I were doing somebody else's book, I would put their name here. Audio copyright owner. I am also the audio copyright owner. If you worked with an audio engineer, depending on your contract with them, you might own this, they might own this. And that's something you have to have spelled out. If you're working with a contract with somebody, you need to establish who owns the rights to the audio. Is it you or is it them? Print copyright year, and oh wait, hold on. I do need to do print copyright year was 2021. All right. That's when the print book was done, and then the audiobook is here. My book is nonfiction, best category for my book. We do have biographies and memoirs, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Narrator is going to be myself. And publisher is my publishing company. And reviews and rewards, there is none about that. Maybe I get some awards for the most crazy life in the world, but you can read all about it. All right. Let's see here. So some of this stuff is going to be changing. So I need to read what this is, because this is at this point a slightly different screen than we used to have, which is why we're doing an updated video here. Chapter names inserted below will automatically create a placeholder for audio files in Production Manager. It's important to spend some time on the section to correctly format your chapter names, referring to formatting guide below for our recommendations. So proper title casing. So consider consistent chapter naming, chapters in order, chapter 1, chapter 2. So this is correctly good formatting. You'll know the title casing. The errors here, this is poorly formatted. You don't want to do all caps. These guys are inconsistent. We also don't have the names of the chapters, which is kind of annoying. Chapters are out of order here. So you want to make sure that things are set up well. So let's go ahead and start entering chapter names. Okay. Enter each chapter, section, or section on a new line. Oh boy, this is going to take a little bit of time. Let's see if I can import from Kindle. Okay, we don't have an index of poetry in this book. We do have dedication, brief word, introduction. Okay, let's see. If you don't customize your chapter names, it will default to chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Okay. Dedication, we have a brief word. We have, okay, this is section 1. Seeds of Destruction. Just need to make sure that okay, and we do have one more challenge, and that is that the poetry are separate items here. So I'm going to need to parse those out as well. So I'm actually going to open the book up on my other computer here so I can see what's going on. So we have section 1, and we have Am I Alone? Mommy, Who is God? Who's my daddy? Can I have that? Can you keep a secret? After Can you keep a secret, we actually have a poem, so I need to insert this one. Flowing Times. And then we have One Wicked Sapling, which is section 2. Okay, then we have Is There a Friend for Me? That's good. Then we have another poem. This is called Solitude. Then we have Your Child's Worst Influence. I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here, and we'll come back when I'm done with this. Okay, so I have that all in. Hopefully that's there. I don't know if end credits is supposed to be here or not. We're going to take that out. We'll go ahead and hit save and continue. This is a new format. I've not uploaded a book since then. All right, so now we need to upload our cover. So you can see here that the file format needs to be JPEG, PNG, or TIFF. Minimum of 2400. You'll remember that mine is 3000, 24-bit, and no horizontal or vertical image borders. What that means is that it has to be a square image. All right, so we're going to go to my desktop, and we're looking for the audiobook full. I have way too many things in here. This is the one that I need. All right, so it's uploading that. That looks good. We're going to go ahead and hit save. All right. Language says not specified. Okay, I don't know why. All right. Okay, let's see. Opening credits. This is where it gets fun. So here's that. And we're going to browse for dedication. A brief word. I can't remember if this is the one. that you used to be able to upload a bunch at a time. I don't know. All right, section 1. Am I alone? Okay, so you can kind of see what I'm doing, so I'll go ahead and cut the video again because I'm on 6 out of 59, so this is going to be a bit. All right, so we have most of these guys up, and you can see we've got everything in place. It did give us the placeholders for the opening credits, which is required, and we're just going to scan through, make sure these are all good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Something goofy happened here, so we're going to replace. So that's Solitude. So some of these, the only downside I found with this particular uploader here is that sometimes it's moving back and forth, and it does the analyzing the file, and it just adds it on. So as you click the download button, sometimes that ends up being jumping right in the way of the cancel button. And so it wouldn't surprise me if a few of those happen. So make sure that you're checking this, especially a book with this many chapters in it. Just double checking, make sure all of these are just going in a perfect order. 6, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57. Good. Now, we need a closing credits. So I have my end credits here. It's my 58. And then we need a retail audio sample also required. So in my case, it needs to be less than 5 minutes. What I did in this case is I did the introduction, which was just a few seconds longer. Instead of it just cutting one paragraph out of the middle where it made sense. So you go ahead and upload the retail sample as well. This should be somewhere around, there you go, 6 hours and 29 minutes. That's exactly what I was anticipating it being based on the research in the playlists. If you wanted to do a PDF supplemental, you can go ahead and do that. I'm not going to worry about that here. Everything else here looks to be good. So now we're going to go ahead and let's see what this guy is over here. Okay. That's all in, and hit I'm done. Published by. Okay, before submitting, final retail information and cover art retail display has been uploaded. Audiobook has been approved for upload, and the chapter names correspond to the audio files are accurate as they should appear. Let me go ahead and just double check that one more time, just to double check. There's the title and opening credits. There's the dedication, brief word. So everything looks good. Now, one thing you will notice is that there was nothing in here to talk about price. ACX sets the price automatically. You have a little bit more flexibility on the Findaway voices that we'll upload to as well. But this one here, you don't have quite as much latitude. In my case here, I'm just going to go ahead and pull my price from some of my other books for retail, which I think I set it at $14.99 in my personal store. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's something close to that. So everything here is looking good. I'm not seeing anything out of place. We're just making sure here. And pulling in from the table of contents from the Kindle book actually did save us a lot of time doing that. If I had to type all these out, it would have taken quite a bit more time. This is why if you are putting your book on a variety of places, putting everything up on Amazon first is definitely a good bet. All right, I'm done. We'll go ahead and understand and hit yes, I approve. Now, once that's in, it's going to take a little bit of time. They're doing the audio review, making sure everything looks good. They're going to do a little quality check, and hopefully there's not going to be any goofy things in here. I've not had an audio file kicked back yet, so we'll see what happens. But hopefully this will help you figure out how to upload books to ACX. All right, so here we are. We're going to upload the audiobooks now to Findaway Voices. Now, Findaway Voices was recently acquired by Spotify, who is trying to move into the audiobook market. So audiobooks are now available on Spotify. They've added a few things up and down. Now, another thing to keep in mind, and this will probably affect Findaway Voices and ACX. There's a little bit of a dispute right now between Spotify and iTunes regarding sale of products available, mostly having to do with Apple and apps. Where Apple tries to make a big cut on selling products through the iOS apps. And Spotify had to remove some elements of buying and selling things in the app. And so that could affect some audiobook sales, theoretically, in some case on iOS. Let's just not worry about that right now. Okay, so you'll see I have all the other books that I have published available here. We are ready for a new project, so we're going to go ahead and do these. So I want to sell an existing audiobook or self-narration, completely free to upload. There is the managed production. So if you have a book and you like to do an audiobook and you don't know where to start, managed production is good because you can work with them, or you can create independently by going over to the marketplaces. So these two options here, you will be able to get help from Findaway Voices. I, of course, already have my files, so we're just going to go ahead and click on this. What is the title of the audio book? This book is called Half My Life. Is the book. So we're going to go ahead and hit begin. This is going to be a brand new updater. I've not updated the uploaded a book since this new updater is in place. So this one should replace the previous video we had. All right, so now first thing it's going to ask us to upload the cover. Now you'll notice on this one that it is actually asking for 3,000 by 3,000, whereas ACX only requires 2,400. That's actually why I do my covers at 3,000 by 3,000. It says we prefer PGNs that are that. It should accept the JPEG as well. I have no idea why they say they want PNG files. JPEGs are actually what this is for. PNG files are for when you explicitly want transparency built into your system. All right, so that looks good. Now we're going to put in our subtitle: How Jesus Conquered My Soul. Is this part of a series? No, it is not part of a series. And now we want a description. I'm just going to go on over to my website. And we're just going to go over and just borrow my text from there because I'm not typing a bunch of stuff. Are y'all crazy? Go ahead and copy that. And head on back over here, and it looks like we went too far. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and just do the first 3 paragraphs. It probably might be missing a little bit, but that's okay. Publisher field cannot be changed. That's okay. Or walk in Christ Publishing. So whoever is listed as the publisher. Authors' first and last names. All right. And narrators. Okay, I have to click the add button apparently before saving. All right, so that is good there. Metadata is unabridged. Language is English. Keywords. Let's do biography. Do Christian. There's a little bit of theology in the book. Life stories. Abuse might be a good one because, yeah, I went through some crap. Let's see. We'll do Christian living. We'll do Christian biography. There's probably more keywords we can use, but that's good enough. Now we need to select, is it fiction or nonfiction? This is nonfiction. Age level, I'm going to say 18 plus because, yeah, I went through some stuff. Okay. Primary bisect. All right. Bisect codes. I actually don't have the bisect codes right here in front of me, but I do have them on my other computer that's always pulled up next to me. So let me go ahead and find my bisect codes. Biblical biography. Religion, biblical biography, general. That sounds good. And let's do Christian, just do Christian living. Christian living, or we do family and relationships as well. Let's do family and relationships as well. All right. That looks good. Audiobook ISBN. I do not attach ISBNs to my audiobooks. You do not have to do that. I do have ISBNs for the ebooks, however, so let me grab those. It's always good to have all your information available, or at least have it ready to find. So in my case here, you don't see the other computer that I have, but I do have another computer which has all of this kind of stuff. All right, so the ebook ISBN is 978-1-7348398-3-8, and print ISBN is going to be very close to that. So let's copy that. 978 should be just the last two digits differing. 2 and 1. Okay, we do not have library ISBNs set up. Has this audiobook ever been available for purchase on any platform before? Well, I mean, yes and no, but let's just say 2022. Fine, whatever. Let's list it as today. Fine, whatever. All right, whatever. All right. So we're going to go ahead and source copyright year is, this is when the book, and I am the copyright owner. All right. And audio copyright year. Again, if you are working with a audio engineer or a narrator, you may not own the copyright of yours. This is something that needs to be spelled out inside of your contract. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to go ahead and hit a save changes here. Do I need to save all these spots? I don't know if I need to save all those or not. Anyway, let's see, your retail pricing and your list pricing. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back and see what my books are. So this here, I think I listed a $14.99 for that. What I'm going to do, though, is I know the length of this is about the same as this book here. So whatever I'm using for this is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to do $16.99. Okay, now when you do audio library, your library is usually about 3 times what your retail is. That sounds crazy, but the reason is that your library is going to purchase a copy, and then anybody can just go check it out from the library. So effectively, you'll get at least 3 times every time a library buys it. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and so it's going to do $50.97 according to my trusty little dollar store calculator here. All right, let's see. Upload your audio to see price recommendations. We could also do that, but we didn't have the option to upload audio yet. So we're just doing metadata. So it's kind of odd that they're giving us this information. So I'm wondering, should I leave those prices set, or if I should just wait? Since this is a new uploader, I'm not quite sure exactly what to expect, but I'm assuming I can change these later. So there's some launch pricing stuff. We're not going to worry about any of that. I'm going to go ahead and hit that button there for save changes. And we're going to move on over to distribution. So just like ACX has an exclusive, so do they. And the Voices Plus, I think, is going to be, they will handle all aspects and give you a higher royalty. But the problem is that you will lose some. Let's see, the standard tier, Findaway has always offered, if you upload your audiobook to one or more retails outside, this is the one for you. So we're going to use the standard distribution, which gives us slightly lower royalties, although higher than ACX. Quite a bit higher than ACX, in fact. This one will give us much, much higher royalties, but again, it's like the exclusive. I can't put it anywhere else, including my own website. So I don't want to do that. Now, distribution networks, like the places you want to see. We think there's power in going wide, but specific partners and how many you choose. So I have 45 out of 46 listed, and I'm not sure why that author's direct is not an option there. Let's see if there's a button here. Well, I'd like to put it everywhere as well. This site always had a few little bugs in it. Apparently I can't just click or do anything else. Hey, we got a lot of them out of the way. All right. So distributing through Audible is subject to the ACX terms, the non-exclusive rights distribute. So do you agree? Actually, this is where I wanted to take ACX out. Which is Audible. So I wanted to take it out, and I'm not seeing the option to pull those out. And let's see. Let's view detailed list. There we are. That's what we need to do. Okay, so Authors Direct. We'll add Authors Direct, and we're going to take out Audible. And we're not adding Audible distribution because Audible is through the ACX, which we have done on a separate video. I always put them in multiple different places. There we go. Let's confirm selections to that. Okay, distribution options are now saved. That's good. Now let's go to the audio files. All right. How you order your files will play. They will publish them in the arranged order. All right. So we have opening credits. Let's go back down here. This is our title option. And then we have front matter. Let's see. Okay, so the front matter is going to be, in my book here, it'll be the dedication, the brief word, and I might put the introduction in the front matter. It might be in part of the body. So you'll notice here, introduction, they do say to put the introduction up here as well. So we'll go ahead and add the introduction into the front matter. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 is getting us our introduction here. And now the body, this is the heart of the book, common examples, chapters, parts, epilogues, afterwards. Each one must be shorter than 120 minutes. I don't have any worry about that. Let's go ahead and, I don't remember if I can do multiple at a time. I'm going to give it a try. Let's see if I can do 2 at a time. Ooh, I can. Look at that. All right, so let's wait for this to finish. So it might go a little bit quicker, although it might be a long time to update the chapter information. I do remember that being something that we've had to do in the back. So last one is going to be endnotes by bibliographies, anything like that. Let's go ahead and, I don't know if I want to grab everyone at a time, or do I want to go, let's go section by section. So I'm going to do all these, and then I'm going to do section 2 and then section 3, just in case there's any bugs or errors. It's easier to work out. And then it does appear it is putting them down in alphabetical order. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause the recording again, and we will come back when I have all these guys uploaded for the next step. All All right, so that upload process was actually a little easier than the Audible one, although I think we still have to add some metadata. So here's download, here's add audio notes, play audio, delete, or maybe it's just going to pull from the tags we put in. I don't know. The back matter, of course, this is the end notes, anything there. I don't have any of those specifically. We do have end credits. This is required for all audiobooks. Basically, the minimum requirement, it simply says the end. And then, of course, you might include a few other items in there as well, where you might find more information. And then, once again, we need a retail sample. So we have my retail sample down at the bottom. So once that is going to be done, then we are ready to push OK. So let's submit audio files. And this is how your audio files will look on retails. Ensure all chapter names are correct before submitting. All right. This is going to be the fun part. Okay. Let's see. Once again, this thing's just, it's a little janky than that. I didn't see a place on the previous screen to edit chapter names. Oh, you have to type on the... Oh, Lord, this is going to take a while. All right. Yeah, this one is not nearly as good. Let's see. We're just going to have to go in. It's just, it's like, it's not it's intuitive, I should say, as the as ACX. So let's see, opening credits. Let's just do title and credits. Dedication, a brief word, introduction, and section 1. Seeds of destruction. All right. And then, am I alone? So you get the point here. We're going to go ahead and pause the recording while I simply manually type in every single chapter title. All right, I think we have them all in now. That was a little crazy, but let's go ahead and do this. All right, now we'll check these out. Title and credits, dedication, brief word. Here's section 1. All right, one thing I see that I need changed right away. We're going to go return because I need to put a question mark. All of chapter 1 are designed to be questions, so I want to make sure that I had that there. Let's go ahead and submit again. Okay. Times, section 2. So, a friend for me, Solitude Leech, Charles Influence, Mother. This is a long book, by the way. Like, there's a lot of chapters, a lot of moving parts. So that's good. Here, the one thing I'm hoping neither one of these production things have a hissy fit about these two poems being out of order. It is intentionally 2 is there and 1 is there. Very intentional. Hopefully nobody makes a hissy about that, because trying to convince companies like this that, yes, indeed, everything is correct when they appear to be out of order to the common eye might very well... prove problematic, but we'll see what happens. We are confirming the chapter names. Those all look good to me. So what's next, they're going to run through the encoding, make sure they're good, and then we'll make sure that everything is ready. Title's not yet for sale. We need to capture a few more details to give you the chance to review the metadata before submitting the title. All right, continue to final review and submission. All right, so your their suggested pricing is $10.45. My pricing is this. Let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and do the $10.45 as they recommend, and I'm going to jump it down like that. A lot of the reason is biographies by relatively unknown people do not generally sell well. So having a lower price there would be better, and we'll go ahead and just use theirs on both of these. Okay, so I like the fact that they gave us the pricing up at the very end. That was unexpected. Series name, series entry, here's what it looks like. We're not doing a manuscript download, unabridged, adult. Couple of those. Keywords, good. Launch retail price, retail, library. Okay, all that looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and hit the submit for publishing. And now we just need to wait for them to send us any final words, commentary, or things like that. I have not yet had a case where an audiobook didn't go right into distribution networks within about a week or two. And so that's all we're waiting for here. So to wrap up the video, let's summarize a few things that we saw. The first is I use the non-exclusive options. If you use the exclusive options, if you're going to use an exclusive option anywhere, do it on Findaway Voices because it puts you way more places. Gives you a little bit higher royalties, but it excludes you from being able to sell it on your own store and on other platforms where you might make more royalty on that. And trust me, with Findaway Voices, where they start to do library sales and things, you might see 5 cents come in from somebody borrowing your book from a library. Hey, it's 5 cents you wouldn't have had, but I'd kind of rather you buy it instead, which gives a little bit higher royalty. But if you buy it directly from my website, I make pretty close to the $14 I sell it for. I only lose the credit card processing fees and the one-time transaction fees from my payment processor. If I do it through any of the other platforms, I'm going to take a big hit. I'm only going to get 25% of that, but that's really good, being is that they handle the distribution, they handle the taxes, they handle everything in the back end. They just tell me at the end of each month how many books have been sold. So I use the non-exclusives because for those people that are really dedicated to following you, if you have a Patreon, for example, if you are doing other things to promote yourself and to sell your books and people want to buy it from you directly, if you're using the exclusive options, you can't do that. And so I always go non-exclusive. I also do non-exclusive so I can put it on multiple platforms. If Findaway Voices goes crazy at some point in time, I can go ahead and, I can go ahead and I can put it up on some other distribution network as well. If I decide that, you know, Findaway Voices has gone crazy under Spotify's leadership and I want to switch to another provider, I can easily switch to that other provider without a real big hassle. And so this is kind of the issue that we have is I like the non-exclusive models, even though I make less money on it, but that's okay because I want to be as broad and as wide in my distribution model as possible. So with that, hopefully this has helped you out and also hopefully taught you some of the things. They change these platforms all the time, so the little bit of struggling sometimes like, oh, how do I do this now? Oh, okay. Makes sense once you get there, but you know, not always the most intuitive. But you can figure it out, and hopefully in me struggling through this, you got a chance to see how we figure that out as well. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope that we have helped you to get your writing done.